Hey guys, my name is Danish and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about a Samsung flagship that I recently got to experience and use for a few hours. So today we are going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S20. So let's get started. So before I talk about what I like and dislike about this device, let's talk through the specs of this device. So the S20 has a 6.2-inch QHD display which can run at 120 Hz and has the Exynos 990 processor in it, which I have a lot to talk about, which we'll get to in a moment. And it has a 12 megapixel wide camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 64 megapixel telephoto zoom camera, and a 4000 milliamp hour battery, and a glass sandwich. So this has a glass at the front, glass at the rear, with an aluminum frame in the middle. So it's a premium build quality. And as usual, Samsung always has the greatest displays that they can provide, and also the build quality is always top notch. So on to the feature list that I like and dislike. So let's start out with the pros. Primary pro here is the main sensor, which can do 4K 60 and also 8K recording. 4K 60 is great, the stabilization is great, the color accuracy is always great. And the next is the display. So this is a 6.2 inch 3200 by 1440 pixel resolution. At this resolution it can run at 60 Hz, but if you scale it down to full HD it can go all the way to 120 Hz. So I understand why they did this. Another pro here I have to include is that the Samsung S20 has been guaranteed to be provided with 3 years of software support, which is 1 year higher than regular that they used to provide before. So this is Samsung stepping up and improving their software support game to 3 years, coming on par with the Pixel lineup, but still far away from the iOS lineup, which let's not get into this video about. And the next positive point that I want to talk about is the processor. Hold on, don't get started in the comments, let me finish. So the 990 is a capable processor, and from regular use and a bit of gaming, I don't think a regular consumer would even know the difference between the Exynos variant and the Snapdragon variant. This is where I have to go into the cons section, and the first con is again the processor. So at this price point you are losing a bit of performance because the international market gets the Exynos variant, whereas the North American and the Korean market gets the Snapdragon. So here we lose out on top end performance and a bit of battery life, but for a regular consumer I don't think it would make much of a difference even in the long term as well. The next con that I have to talk about is the price. At 59,000 rupees it is not a cheap device, and I will come to the competitors that the device has in a bit. But let's move on to the feature list that can be good but I don't think will be noticeable. So the first feature list that is missing here is the 3.5mm jack, but at this price point there isn't any flagship that has a 3.5mm driver, and everybody would have been already shifted to Bluetooth, so that is not much of an issue. The next point is Bixby. Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to be using that. And the next point is Samsung DeX support, so you can connect your smartphone to a monitor and you can use it as a full-fledged system. So that is helpful for people who can utilize this, but it's not a feature that can sway the purchasing decision. Wireless charging and reverse wireless charging are two more items that are on this list, and I don't think people are going to transition to wireless charging soon. Even though Apple also has made it mainstream thing, we are still going to plug it in at the end of the day because it's a lot faster and a lot more reliable, because you don't have to place it in a certain way so that the coils line up. So that is a feature that is good to have, but if it's not there as well you won't miss it. Now coming on to the competition, there are 3 tiers of competition here. The first tier is the internal competition, which is the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. So it's a cut down variant of the S20, but in a way it looks a bit more fancy because of the rings on the camera lenses that are mimicking the ultra variants, which make it a bit more higher end looking, even though it has a telephoto sensor that has been cut down from 64 to 8 megapixel, but that doesn't make much of a difference because nobody uses the telephoto at all. So that is a sacrifice that has been made over there. And as well as the plastic back, low resolution display at full HD but at a 6.5 inch size, and also it cannot do 8K recording, which is not something that you would do. But it also has a plus side of having a larger battery at 4500 milliamps. So it's a really tough decision to make for a Samsung user to either go for the S20 FE or the S20 standard variant, because there are not a lot of drawbacks that a regular user will make out, because it has the same processor in it, and because it is a lower resolution display, you will not lose as much on the battery front as well. So it is a compelling argument to have, but I leave it up to you guys to let me know of which device you would choose out of these two. So the second tier of competition here is the iPhone 11, which comes out a tad cheaper in this segment at 54,900 for the base 64GB variant. But if you want to go for the 128, comparing it to the same device, it is again there at 59,900 at the same price point. Here it becomes a bit dicey because the Samsung has a better display, the iPhone has a better camera system, the iPhone has a better build and service life, and the Samsung has a better display. So it's a toss up between the two of you, so it's because of whichever ecosystem that you like, you can go for. And the third tier of competition here is the Android market, where there are two devices that stand out to me. That is the Asus ROG Phone 3 with a Snapdragon 865 Plus and the OnePlus 8 Pro with the Snapdragon 865. So both of these devices come at around the same price point, at the ROG coming at 54,900 for the top end 12GB 256GB variant, which is double the storage of the S20 and 1.5 times the RAM, and the OnePlus 8 Pro comes at 59,900 again for the 12 to 56 variant. So both of these are a lot more appealing if you are not a Samsung user predominantly, or you don't really have the use for the features that Samsung is providing. And also coming to the feature set, these two devices that I talked about both have 120 plus hertz refresh rate monitor. So the ROG has a 144 hertz full HD display, and the OnePlus has a QHD display with 120 hertz support, so they don't have to scale it down to 1080p to provide the full 120 hertz refresh rate experience. So that is another thing that you have to consider, whether you want to run it at QHD at 120 and sacrifice on battery life. But the Asus here again wins in that point with a 6000 milliamp hour battery 20 that I got to use and give my first impressions on. But as I started reading more about it and researching the price points, 4 more devices just popped up out of the blue and providing a strict and difficult competition to the S20, especially the FE, which is providing a lot more value here. So let me know in the comments what you think about this lineup and the selection that you are given with. And to the S20 owner who bought this phone, I congratulate you. I hope you enjoy the phone. It's a good device all in all. That's it for me today. It was not a lot of deep diving into this device because I didn't get to use it too much. The gaming experience was normal, and I did some 4K recording on it as well, and it didn't heat up on me. It performed very well, and I've used that footage in other videos like the iPhone 11 unboxing video as well, which you go and check it out over here. And that's it for me today. If you like this video, give this video a like, get subscribed to my channel, comment down below your thoughts, and stay home, stay safe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.